Good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Nothing But Sports with Kent Sterling, brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. I'm telling you, Dr. Mike O'Neill, best dentist there is. Make an appointment to see him today. You got to go to the dentist, take good care of your teeth. Let the best at his profession do it with you. Call 317-849-2933. All right, Sports Nothing But Sports today. It's a question and answer session with the great Harry. We welcome him to the show. How you doing, Harry? Like I said, welcome. Good to have you aboard.
All right, let's go. A big day. Look at the weather. The sun is shining. The heat is swooning. The fish are swimming. The cars are speeding around the 2.5-mile oval at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All right, number one, should Michigan go with Fab Five alum Juwan Howard as their next basketball coach?
Good question right out of the chute, Harry. I don't know what kind of a coach Juwan Howard's going to be. We've never seen him be a head coach, so we have no idea what exactly he's going to be as a head coach whenever he gets his opportunity. At some point, he's going to get that opportunity. What we do know is this, that those stumping for Juwan Howard, they don't know either. You got a guy like Jay Williams on ESPN and on Twitter talking about how there's a need to change the culture within the Michigan basketball program. Why? What the hell is he talking about? John Beilein, as a head coach, won 2 Big Ten championships, 2 Big Ten tournaments, and went to the NCAA championship game twice. You look back and you say, okay, the Fab Five, hey, they were something, weren't they? Well, you know what? They did more for fashion in basketball with long shorts than they did for basketball. They won exactly 0 Big Ten championships. They went to the NCAA championship game twice, but both of those appearances were vacated because of NCAA rule violations. Is this really, that's the culture you want to go back to? Look, I got nothing against Juwan Howard. And by all accounts, like I said, a great guy. My brother-in-law did some work for him in his house and said he was absolutely wonderful. I got nothing but love for Juwan Howard. But these guys don't know what in the hell they're talking about. They're just spouting off, trying to get their guy hired. And I get it, especially with Jalen Rose. That's fine. You want to get your guy hired, try to get your guy hired. But to say that you know for a fact this is the best thing for Michigan basketball is patently absurd. Continuing the culture of excellence that John Beilein has built at Michigan, that is what makes sense. I don't know whether you hire the guy internally, the Yaklich guy, or what you do, but I do know this, that the guys like Jay Williams who are saying, I got the answer, it's Juwan Howard, they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Boy, you really don't like that Jay Williams. Good for you. Number two, does Fast Friday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway mean anything anymore?
You bet your ass it means something. And what it means is it's an opportunity to fill a cooler with beer and sandwiches, go out to the hallowed ground at 16th and Georgetown and watch cars go around real fast. They increased the boost today. They get into qualification trim, and they see just how fast these cars can go. They might eclipse 232, 233. It's going to be a little bit warm, so speed conditions aren't exactly optimal, but it's going to be fun out there. It always is. And the more you're out there, the more you realize exactly what that place is. And I highly recommend, before you go out, if you've never been there, go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, go to the museum, and see what's in there and learn about this place, because without context, it's just like this huge place, again, where cars go fast and you drink beer. But it's more than that. And it's hallowed ground because of the lives that have been lost in the pursuit of speed at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The context and the texture of what's gone on there since 1909 with motorcycles and hot air balloons and stuff, 1911 for open-wheel cars. You know what? It is awesome. And it is a great place to go. I cannot recommend it more highly. Tomorrow, today, day after, and then a week from Sunday, the Indianapolis 500 is just unbelievable. If you've never been there, go. Turn 1 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the start, like the first 5 laps of the Indy 500, are the most awesome, hair-raising thing you have ever seen. Indy, it's back, baby. I don't know whether it means anything that it's going to be on NBC or not, but I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to the race. I'm looking forward to quals. I'm looking forward to this afternoon to see how fast those cars can go.
You're right, as any excuse is a good excuse. Number 3, is it going to be the Warriors and the Bucks in the NBA Finals?
Well, that's the series I want to see. And at this point, who's going to bet against it happening? The Warriors, they took a 2-0 advantage against the Trailblazers last night. Trailblazers played really, really well for a half. But if you want to beat the Warriors, you've got to play really well at your best for 48 minutes, and that just didn't happen. The third quarter, it was all Warriors, and then the last 2-3 minutes of the game, that was all Warriors too, and that's what you see. The best teams, the teams with the best talent, and the teams that are best coached, they play exceptionally well late. They win games late. That's what happened in Game 1 of the Bucks and the Raptors. The Raptors looked like they were in pretty good shape late, and then all of a sudden, Giannis Antetokounmpo said no. That's not the way this is going to go. I'm taking this game over. You had Brooks Lopez, who was really, really good, outstanding, scored, had his highest point total scoring since over a year ago, and had his highest rebound total in about a year and a half the other night. Tonight, you're going to see the same thing. It's going to be the Bucks and the Raptors. The Bucks, I think they threw their best pitch at the Bucks, and the Bucks hit it. So you're going to have, at the end of this thing, you're going to have the Warriors and the Bucks. Who doesn't want to see that? You've got the best team in the world that would be playing against the best two-way player in the world. Giannis Antetokounmpo, what he does defensively is just awesome. Why would anybody want to see the Raptors and the Blazers? That would be the lowest rated NBA Finals maybe of the last 25 years, of the last maybe 40 years, for God's sake. Nobody wants to watch that. What we want is the Warriors and the Bucks, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen.
Number 4, what is the ceiling for the Indianapolis Colts in the 2019 season?
Oh, man, that's a dangerous question. The last time anybody asked me a question like that, and I was really optimistic about the Colts, was prior to the 2015 season, and I guaranteed that the Colts would go 13-3, and my guarantee was this, that I would dye my hair blonde if they didn't go 13-3. Well, before the end of October, my hair was blonde. What an idiot. I looked like Hal from Scooby-Doo. That's not a look you want to... You want to show off any place, especially like with hair color. You know, it grows out eventually. But for God's sake, it was a good 4 months that I looked patently ridiculous because I got too optimistic about the Colts. But I'll tell you this is a different day. They did not build this roster like that Colts team. They didn't do it through free agency. This Colts team has been built through cultural decisions made during the draft. And because of that, they're going to get good, and they're going to stay good. Chris Ballard is doing it the right way. The ceiling is the Super Bowl. The floor is dependent upon health. If Andrew Luck gets hurt, all bets are off. If Andrew Luck stays healthy, if that offensive line is healthy, and they're healthy right now. We heard from Anthony Costanzo yesterday that he hadn't felt this good from before he was a rookie. He's never felt this good as a pro. He had what he thought was chronic pain in the knees, and that pain, it wasn't caused by a knee issue. It was caused by a hip issue. They've treated the hips, and now the knees are fine. So you've got the entire offensive line returning. You've got Andrew Luck, who's healthy and is going to be able to move through an offseason with complete health. You've got Marlon Mack. You've got Nyheim Hines. You've got Jordan Wilkins at the running back spot. They went out and got Devin Funchess. They got Paris Campbell in the draft. You've got T.Y. Hilton, who's going to be healthy by the time they break training camp. And you've got a defense that's going to be faster than hell. If they stay healthy, I think they've got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. If they're not healthy, they could recede to the mean. But I love where the Indianapolis Colts are today. I think they've got the right coach. I think they've got the right GM. I think they're all working in concert to make the right decisions. And those decisions during the draft have been made. You look at a guy like Justin Houston. I think he could be dynamic on the defensive front and get to the quarterback, and that's going to be the thing. The defense has to work hand in hand. You've got to have the defensive backfield and the pass rush work hand in hand. If you've got good coverage, then the pass rush has more time to get to the quarterback. If you've got a good pass rush, then the receivers are going to have less time to get open, and all of a sudden you get that machine clicking in the right direction, and you win football games, and you win a lot of them. The schedule, more difficult than it has been traditionally for the Colts because the AFC South is not filled with doormats anymore. The Texans, Jaguars, and Titans, they can all play. It wouldn't surprise me to see 3 of those teams go to the playoffs, the Colts being one of them. I think the Colts go to the Super Bowl, but we're going to have to see how the health of this roster pans out.
Oh, you're right. That's a pie-in-the-sky take. That's very optimistic. At any rate, number 5, if Romeo Langford falls to the Pacers at 18, should they take him in the upcoming NBA draft?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Look, Romeo Langford is a kid with an incredibly high ceiling. He's got a better motor than people think. I'm telling you, he's not indifferent toward basketball. He's stoic. That's what he is. If you played poker with Romeo Langford and he was holding a royal flush, you wouldn't know it. If he was holding king high, he would have the same look on his face holding that king high as that royal flush. I spent some time with Romeo Langford down at New Albany High School while he was still down there, and I tried to communicate to him the need to deal with the media in a specific way, all right? I won't get into the nuts and bolts of that. I won't get granular about what I tried to tell Romeo and his opportunity when he sees a microphone rather than seeing it as a responsibility. But what I will tell you is that for an hour, he stared at me blank-faced, and I couldn't tell from 1 second to the other whether he was listening to me or whether he was asleep with his eyes open. So at the end of the deal, I asked him questions about what we had talked about. And periodically I'd say, do you have any questions? And he would unfailingly say, no, sir. So I'd go on. But at the end, I asked him questions to gauge how much he was actually listening to see if I had wasted my time in driving down there and talking to this kid. You know what? He retained everything. You just can't tell by his outward appearance how much he cares or what he's thinking. And that, I think, in the end is a good thing, not a bad thing. I think it's good. Romeo Langford is going to be a guy who comes to an NBA team and works tirelessly at improving his craft at playing basketball. He's got to fix some things with his shot. To me, his wrist is way too torqued. You don't need the wrist to propel the basketball. And if you do, you add something else to the shot that can go wrong. And so to me, that's the difference between him shooting 27%, which he did at Indiana last year from beyond the arc, and him shooting about 35, 38% from beyond the arc. He's got to fix the structural issues with his shot, which can be done relatively easily. And then he's going to have 2 years to build some strength, get out on the court, and do some stuff. But I'm telling you, compared to most guys taking it the number 18 slot, and that's where the Pacers are going to draft, Romeo Langford has an exceptionally high upside. And so if the Pacers have an opportunity, if he falls to 18, absolutely you grab that kid. And it's not about marketing, and it's not about selling jerseys. It's not about selling tickets. It's about winning basketball games, because as a 21 or 22-year-old, Romeo Langford is going to be a really good pro. I don't know whether he's ever going to be an all-star, but I'm telling you, he is going to be a guy who can contribute for a winning team in the NBA. And if you can get that at 18, you take that at 18. Harry, absolutely excellent questions. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Ganilres. We'll talk to you next week, I hope. Fingers crossed, as it were.
That's Sports Nothing But Sports. And again, thanks to Harry for joining us, asking some questions. Have a great weekend. If you got nothing planned, head out to the track. If you do have something planned, I hope that you're going out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to watch qualifications both tomorrow and Sunday. Like I said, look, what's not fun about this? It's going to be sunny. It's going to be warm tomorrow. You get to pack a cooler. Make it the right size. It can't be too big. Fill it with beer. Fill it with sandwiches. It's a great, cheap afternoon for you, friends, the wife, the husband, whoever you bring. You're going to have a great time out there as always. Any excuse to go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is a great one. And Qual's weekend, absolutely unbelievable. You're going to have a great time. And if not, certainly watch it on NBC and the NBC Sports Network. For me, tomorrow night, I'm going to the Who concert because the Who, they still rage. I don't give a damn. Pete Townsend could be 150 years old. He's still going to have more anger and more ability to express that anger in rock and roll than any 10 other guys. You go watch the Who tomorrow night at Ruoff Home Mortgage Center out there in Noblesville, and I'm telling you what you're going to see. You're going to see a band with an orchestra that is more enthusiastic, more energetic than most bands with guys in their 30s. I've gone to see The Who a bunch of times. I've gone to see Def Leppard a bunch of times. Now, Def Leppard, those guys are a little bit long in the tooth, too. Probably 50 years old. But I'm telling you, the difference between The Who and Def Leppard, enormous. Great energy from The Who. I expect a tremendous show. I hope to see you out there. I'll be in the lawn because that's where we go. That's where we sit and we watch shows. I don't go into the pavilion. I'm not in there with all the highfalutins. No, I'm out there in the lawn with the rabble, with the rest of us, having a great time, enjoying a delicious beverage, and watching and listening to unbelievably great music, generationally great music. Like I said, I hope to see you out there. All right, that's Sports Nothing But Sports for a Friday. We'll be back with Breakfast with Kent Monday morning, 8 o'clock on Facebook Live and on Periscope Live at about 8:15. All brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Join me.